Welcome back, guys. So, after yesterday's Nintendo Direct, I did a little video talking about the Switch Online announcements, the Nintendo 64 stuff, Sega Genesis stuff, and a couple of the games that I was excited about. But I wanted to circle back on this Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis thing. So, I've got a lot to say the more I've thought about it. And after looking at a lot of the comments on my video, I mean, there's a lot of responses here, both negative and positive. And that's fine. I mean, everybody can have their opinion and feelings on how things work here with Nintendo. And I tend to see both sides of everything. So with these guys putting out the Nintendo 64 onto the system, I mean, there's not that many games from the start. Looks like there's 9 games. Some solid titles, right? I mean, really solid. Some things we didn't expect to see, even with the anticipation of the possibility of Nintendo 64 being announced. And we also got Sega Genesis announced with 14 titles. And with that comes the, I wanted to say idea, but it's not an idea, but the business plan of, hey, we're going to charge more for access to this. We're already paying, $20 a year for Switch Online. $4 a month, $8 for 3 months. Those are like, hey, in between, I can't afford $20 right now. I'll just do 1 month and then eventually, whatever. And then a family plan, which is what I pay for and have paid for since the inception of this plan, $35 a year. Now, that plan, I really can't argue too much because it could be up to 8 Switch accounts. I actually have 5 different Nintendo Switches that have plans on them through this $35 a year thing. I'm not complaining too much on that. But when we initially had to start paying for this, there was a lot of like, well, what's the additional value? We're just getting to play online games that we always got to play with Nintendo. Are they going to improve things? And really, I don't think things have been improved. It was just more of a, hey, we're going to start charging because everybody else is charging. And guess what? Most of us, myself included, like I just said, we paid for it. Maybe with a little pushback, but not too much. But why did we pay for it? Because, Nintendo said we're going to charge for it, and we said, okay, fine, we'll fucking pay for it, right? If you're somebody like me who has a PlayStation and an Xbox in the house, you're also going to be paying for these other plans. And I've looked at this ever since Xbox and PlayStation, they were charging for their plans. It was like, man, okay, this kind of sucks. Now, there are benefits, $60 a year, both if you just go Xbox Live Gold Standard, not Ultimate. I do pay for Ultimate. That's $15 a month, I believe. But if we're just going by the standard plans to pay for that get you access to online gaming, $60 a year for both Xbox Live Gold or PlayStation. They all come with their benefits, additional value added, some free games, PlayStation Plus monthly games, which I don't really ever pay attention to be quite honest with you, and some member discounts. Both Xbox Live Gold and PlayStation Plus are fairly similar in the benefits, just varying type of thing. But yeah, there's some discounts involved and free games type of thing, but they're really not free because you're paying for them. You're renting them, essentially getting access for as long as you have your paid plan. You don't get to keep any of this stuff. And it was the same thing with Nintendo. When Nintendo first put their plan out, and started putting NES games and Super Nintendo games, you get a few little additional benefits. Splatoon 2 in-game gear download codes, some member-exclusive stuff for Animal Crossing. I've never really even paid attention to this, but you get some additional benefits. I don't think there's any discounts involved with Switch Online, but you do get, emulated Super Nintendo and NES games that you do not get to keep. I personally don't put value on that too much. Some of you guys may be a little different on that and say, you know what, it's cool that I get that. I think it's cool that it's an added benefit with all of these services, but all 3 of them, PlayStation, Xbox Live, and Nintendo Switch Online, I don't put too much value on the things that I don't get to keep. I'm just paying for access for however long I keep the membership, right? And now with Nintendo doing this expansion pack, it's like, holy crap. I always have to remind people, I mean, most people realize this, but there's some people who have things twisted, is that Nintendo, just like Sony and Xbox, they're not your friends. They are a business. They're in the business to make money. And Is Nintendo the worst offender out there as far as nickeling and diming people? I mean, I'll let you be the judge here, because with what they're offering now, we don't even know how much they're going to charge monthly in addition to the normal $20 to $35 a year. Is it going to go up to $30 a year, $45 a year type of thing to get Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis? They're going to be adding more games to this stuff, but is that the only benefit? You're going to get to emulate these games on your Nintendo Switch and not get to keep them. I did see a lot of comments say, I don't really care for this because I would rather them just sell it to me in a package. That way I could keep it. That's what I'm saying. Same exact thing. I would rather have a Nintendo 64 collection bundled up on a cartridge, and maybe it comes with one of these controllers and they sell it for whatever they deem fair. But that's one thing that we don't know yet, is the actual price on this stuff, but we do know what they're going to be charging for these controllers. And that's one of the big problems that I'm having right now. $50 for the Nintendo 64 controller. We don't really know. Does it have rumble built into it? How is that going to work, type of thing? Does it have motion sensing? What is involved with this controller, right? And then the Sega Genesis controller, which, my God, that's a 3-button Sega Genesis controller. Zoom up, enhance, right? The prospect of getting a Sega Genesis controller made by Nintendo in Nintendo packaging with Nintendo's logo somewhere on that controller is a very interesting thing. But $50 is what they're going to be charging for it. $50. You realize? Do you realize? Where is it at? The Super Nintendo controller. Whoa, I'm zooming way too far up. The Super Nintendo controller is $30. The two NES controllers, essentially $30 controller, $60 for a 2-pack. The fuck? How is it that just one Sega Genesis controller is more than the Super Nintendo controller? I could understand if, like, this is all like a what if. Like, what if the NES controllers were sold individually and they were sold for $20 each, type of thing? But the way they're priced, it seems like they would be $30 each, right? But how is it that the Sega Genesis controller is $20 more than the Super Nintendo controller? Individual controller. I'm not saying it's a worse controller, by no means, but is there anything in addition to? Does it have HD rumble? Does it have gyroscope action, accelerometer stuff? We don't know. We don't know. Is the price justified? Or is it Nintendo just knows, you know what? Some things have gone up in price, maybe like $1 in our materials, but we're going to charge $20 more for profit because we know you will pay for it. I'm just as guilty, because when these controllers go live, when they go live, it's going to be a bitch. I'm telling you right now, Sega Genesis ones, they're going to sell, but the Nintendo 64 ones are going to be the ones that you see sell out the quickest and then are immediately flipped for over $100 on eBay, type of thing. So keep tabs on that if you really want one. I don't know how they're going to limit them or whatever. Is it going to be 1 up to 4? I don't know. We don't know yet. They will be announcing more information soon. But that's the control. I want the Nintendo 64 controller to use it, to actually use it. The Sega Genesis one, more of an oddity that I want it, but it's a 3-button controller. In Japan, they're releasing the 6-button controller. It's like the Genesis Mini debacle all over again. Other regions get 6-button controller, and some regions get 3-button controller. Figure it out, right? But then you got companies like Retrobit. They figured it out in the past because they make official Sega Genesis controllers, and their 2.4 gigahertz 6-button Sega Genesis controller is $35. Their Bluetooth controller is $30. 6 buttons. Same thing for the Saturn ones. Great controllers, in my opinion. But Retrobit did just announce another partnership with Sega right after the Switch Nintendo Direct, where Nintendo announced their Sega partnership. So Retrobit here, they went ahead and announced a new controller as well. A set of big 6-button Sega Genesis controllers, officially licensed by Sega, partnered with Sega, right in time for people to be like, holy crap. I personally have the feeling, not that, I'm cool with the Retrobit guys, but they don't tell me everything, obviously. Like, they didn't give me any kind of heads up or special information on this controller. But if I were to, bet, I'm willing to bet this 2.4 gigahertz wireless controller is not going to be $50. With the past pricing, the $30 and $35, if they do bump it up in price, I would imagine maybe $40. Maybe they'll keep it at the $35 price point. Don't know, but I'm willing to bet it won't be $50. Won't be. It could be, but I doubt it, right? So they have stuff like this coming, which is just baffling. Like, that's cool, man. I mean, that's a lot of people like the bigger Sega Genesis controller and wish it had the 6 buttons. That's why a lot of people like the Saturn controller, because the way it feels. But then people like this as well. I don't, know how to describe the shape, but that nice curve, it fits nicely in your hands, with that original 3-button controller. But to have the addition of 6 buttons, complete 6-button controller, arcade style, that's going to be the ultimate controller for a lot of people. I'm really looking forward to this one. I don't know when that's going to come available, when they're going to have this ready. Retrobit has the habit of teasing things, and then, with everything going on in the world, solid information could be a ways away, so we don't know for sure. But I have a feeling they've been working on this for a while, so it could be sooner than later, but no guarantees. I don't know that for a fact. But yeah, I'm baffled. I'm baffled by the decisions with the Switch Online with these controllers, because I saw comments as well, like, do I have to have a Switch Online membership to buy these controllers? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. You don't have to have the, the additional expansion pack to buy these, but to use them to play those games on the Switch, yeah, you're going to have to pay for the expansion to get access to that stuff. But I'm just like, man, yeah, Nintendo, nickel and diming, maybe. They're a business out to make money, and they know people will spend the money, so why make it reasonable? So that's what I'm really not sure how much this expansion pack for the online service is going to be. Their service initially wasn't too crazy priced. If they asked $60, a year, it would have been a harder pill to swallow for me and for a lot of people. I think a lot of people looked at $20 a year. Okay, fuck it. Like, I'm not going to stress on it too much. But the added value behind it, with Nintendo, it's you could buy more shit from us type of thing with all these controllers they've been releasing, and I'm sure they may have more in the future. Who knows? But yeah, that's where it's at. I think all 3 companies with their online services, the value is really going to be subjective, up to you. A lot of us have just accepted the fact that these companies are going to charge us to play games online, even, games that don't require like a subscription fee, just a blanket fee that you pay to them to play these games online. Now, a lot of us have just accepted that, and it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Nintendo's getting in on the we got to make more with minimal effort, maybe. I mean, throwing Nintendo 64 games up online when they've already been able to emulate them just fine in the past. If anybody can emulate a Nintendo game, it should be Nintendo, right? Their emulators are typically pretty nice. Minimal effort for more money is what I'm getting at. Like, I would like to have seen this launch with more games, Game Boy added, which I do think eventually they will. But we'll have to wait and see what they're actually going to ask for additional as far as the pricing goes. They should have that news coming out within the next few weeks, I would imagine, because the service goes live at the end of October. Let me know what you guys think. Are you going to buy these controllers? Are you just going to get the Sega Genesis one just for the oddness behind it? It's a Nintendo-made Sega Genesis controller. Holy shit. That's the only reason I want one. I will probably never use it. But I don't like the idea of paying $50 for that thing. It's that Nintendo tax, man. Like, they got to pay Sega. And it's like Retrobit. Retrobit had to pay Sega, right? Retrobit had to pay Sega. They didn't. It wasn't just like Sega was like, okay, you can use our name. We could work with you a bit to, double check the design and quality on these things. And you guys go ahead and sell it and make all the profit. We don't want nothing. That's not how it works. Retrobit paid them too, but they were more reasonable with their pricing. Nintendo, on the other hand, they're like, well, we got to pay Sega, but we want to get paid big time. So we'll pay Sega whatever their little licensing fee is, and then we want even more. We want it to be like we didn't have to pay Sega at all type of thing. I don't know, man. It's just crazy. But we'll buy it. A lot of us will. Even some of the people who say they won't, they will too. I mean, they'll hide it in shame, but they'll do it. I'm just being open about it. I don't like it, but I'm gonna buy it. Am I part of the problem? I'm just one fucking person, man. One person doesn't make a fucking difference. You're not gonna, you know, a lot of these companies out there, you can rally against them and pose changes on certain things. I think with Nintendo, they're like not as easily persuaded necessarily. So a lot of us could go out there and be like, we ain't paying $50 for this shit. Nintendo won't hear that right away. They'll hear it when eventually people don't buy it at all, but that won't happen. And then they may lower the price later. But it's doubtful. We'll have to wait to see. They did lower the price on the NES ones at one point. I think they had like a special deal for a short while, and then they boosted the price back up. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Really do appreciate every single one of y'all mofos. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out. Later.